I often see instructions to pour out some glue and then dip your quilling into the puddle. But it's really easy to overcoat your quilling strip this way, which means your glue will be seen on your final work surface. Instead, I prefer to use another piece of plastic to smear the puddle flat. This way, the depth of your glue puddle is very shallow. This allows you to gently press the innermost coils into the glue, coating every bit of it. When I pick it up, I pre-loosen the inner coils so the glue's suction won't destroy the smooth arcs. After lifting, I always turn it upside down to check if I've missed coating any of it. If I did, I'll simply redip again. Now, if you coiled your strip unevenly, it's quite easy to miss getting it dipped fully into the glue. Or maybe you missed dipping a certain section. What do you do if your strip is already on your work surface and that's when you find out? Let me show you how to add glue in a case like this. See how it's still sticking up like that? So I've done work that did that too, and I'll show you how to fix that. And if you see here, see how it wiggles right here? That's because that's not bonded either. You can see the lights passing through there. Everything else is well glued except that area. So a simple tool I use is just a scrap piece of quilling strip, and what I do is I just kind of smear some of the glue from my smeared puddle onto the strip. So I pick some up like that, and I just slip it underneath here. And put it back down. And if, because this isn't so perfectly smeared, if you do find any on the edge, just quickly go back in with your tool and pick up any excess glue from there so that none of that stuff shows. And always have some tissue on hand to clean off your finger. And then same goes with this inside coil here. So the way I would tackle that is, again, smear some of the glue because we don't want to waste any of it. And we're just going to lift this tornado up as much as we can, and then just kind of dab as much as we can underneath there and set it back in place. Now it's glued down. Now you might not get to all of those coils, but at least it's a better security than what we had going on before. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see me commonly using these 3 types of plastic cards. This one is a nice thick one. It's got a matte surface. I find that the matte surface, when I'm smearing the glue on it, it seems to stay where I put it, where I smear it, better. I find that the high gloss ones, the glue tends to kind of soak up on itself again, and I want it to basically stay where I put it. But just give it a try and see which one you prefer more. I use this blue one because sometimes when I smear, then you guys can actually see how thin it actually gets, and when I use it on a white card, you're not able to see how thin I actually smear this. So I like to use this oyster, and it reminds me of London. Now this is a card that I got from Singapore. It's super thin, and I like it because I use it to, when I smear the glue on here, I can slip it underneath coils and then slip it back out again. So I like how thin that is. And the reason why I put this piece of tape on here is just so I can grab it. My fingers can easily grab this up from the table, but it's a little harder to grab this. So I just kind of put this and make it behave like a handle to pick it up. And this came from a divider of a fish tackle box, and I just Used to use this instead of these guys, and once I discovered these guys, I guess I just use this to smear with now, but yeah, I still quite like this guy. Now the reason why I use plastic over cardboard or cardstock to pour my glue on is because eventually the glue will soak into the cardstock and cause that cardstock to buckle. So when you're trying to glue your coils, dip it into the buckled cardstock, it's going to be so wavy that you just don't want those kind of challenges. So, and afterwards you'd have to toss that whole cardboard away. Whereas this one, you know, any of these three options, basically once it's dry, you just peel this part off, this whole skin, and you can reuse this again. As all quillers know, our work is hard to undo. If you've glued something down, don't just tear it up. You'll end up tearing the fibers of your work surface. Instead, I extend an X-Acto knife and slowly slice through the glue horizontally. This is another reason why it's good to use as little glue as possible. While you're watching me slice here, if you have any great quilling glue tips, please comment below and share your ideas so we can all learn from you as well. If you have some stubborn bits, you may need to scrape the surface a bit. I then use an eraser to gently scour the fragments. Finally, I use a bone folder to smoothen the surface as much as possible. I only remove my quilling as a last resort, and you'll get the best results the faster you make your decision before the glue fully dries. And I do suggest that you practice on a scrap piece first. I'm often asked what brand of glue I use. My favorite is Aleene's tacky glue because it's thick and dries fast. I use the large bottle when I need to smear it for dipping, and I put it in a fine tip bottle for applying directly onto my quilling strips. I store it upside down in a shot glass with a wet tissue at the bottom so it doesn't clog and it's always ready to use. You'll find the links to these items in the notes below.